Hey, what's up, guys? How are you? Welcome back. It's me, your host, your brother, your action figure enthusiast, He Bot, and this is a brand new episode of Toys in My Closet. And I hope that you guys come and take the journey with me once again. For all you action figure enthusiasts, welcome. And you see, I have in front of me today a pretty new one in the action figure scene. I haven't really seen too many people talk about them or even review them, so hopefully that'll entice you to come by and stop and check it out and give me some love. We have none other than the Mcfarlane Toys Doom Marauder. Now, if my memory serves me correctly, because I have not played the second Doom and the first Doom I started and I haven't finished it, this character is from the new Doom Eternal, which is basically a kind of a soft reboot from the original Doom trilogy that was also rebooted back, I think it was for 360 or during the OG era, coming towards the 360, where they have Doom 1, 2, and 3. So this character is based off the new one, and he looks pretty badass, pretty gothic, pretty demonic. Doom is an amalgamation of all that stuff with heavy metal as well. If you've played the series, it's a first-person action platformer, very fast-paced, very quick. Probably the father that birthed all the insane quick pace of first-person shooters in the video game scene. And as you guys know, I'm a video game channel, so when I do figures that are related to video games, it's a little extra special because I can correlate the two together and obviously, have an attachment because it connects with me in both ways, with the plastic form in figure form and obviously in digital form with the video game. So let's take a quick look real quick at the packaging and Doom in it. So you can see our Marauder is a open box window. It says Doom on top, 22 points of moving parts, 14 and up. So if you're not 14 and up, please go away, come back when you're older. Love you guys, but don't want to get no censory on my channel. Here's a picture of him, which looks to be the digitalized form of him in the polygon form of the game. It says Marauder right there. Very dark tone colors. Marauders in the side. Mcfarlane Toys in the upper top corner. Bethesda and id, because these are the developers and publishers of the game. And then it says Doom right on the side with a nice picture of him there with Mcfarlane Toys on top of the figure with lighting and the aesthetics looking like it does in the game with a lot of reds, greens, pastel grays. Mcfarlane on the top corner, Doom once again. I don't know why it doesn't say Doom Eternal, but I guess because it's in the Doom universe. So then the figure again in a beautiful promotional shot. Then of course Mcfarlane Toys and the Facebook medium where you can find Mcfarlane himself and his company. So let's take a closer look at this awesome new fig out of packaging, crack him open, see what he has to offer. So sit tight and relax, and we'll be right back. So here we have Marauders out of packaging. And before I go any further with any more details and closer look at Marauder, real quick, I will show you a quick reference because, a lot of people come to my channel and like to, act like, I'm a fraud in certain ways. Like if I don't, say things truthfully from the heart. And I'm not like that. So, real quick, yes, I own the games. I have Doom 1 and I have Doom Eternal. Thanks to my son, he bought the second one. I bought the first one. And they're both on the Xbox One. I play them on the Xbox, obviously, One X, which I have the, Gears of War 5 edition. To play it in the best possible way on console right now. But I had some people come into my first review with Slayer, Doom Slayer, getting upset and calling me a fraud because I didn't know all the details and names of the actual things on, the figure and the weapons. So, I apologize for that. But like I said, I'm not very versed in the Doom universe, but I do enjoy the games and I do have them. I do own them, so I really like them a lot. So here we have Marauder, and continuing on. And let's take a quick look at his measurements, if that's something that you guys are interested in. So what we'll do is, because this is a clear see-through one, I like to leave it so you can see through the white. Let's bring the measurement over here. And when we go from his feet all the way up to the top of his horns, he's a little, let me see, he's a little over, as you see, he's about almost 8 inches. It's almost 8, it's a little over 7.5 inches. So, we know that he is a pretty, pretty big figure, or tall. I think he might be just a little bit taller, slightly taller than the Doom Slayer. I might be wrong, but we'll look at it when we compare it in a little bit. So, taking a closer look at Marauder. First things first, face sculpt and head sculpt. Look at that. Absolutely stunning. The eyes, the brown is inside the walls of the eyes, very skeletal, with all that weathering inside of his brain, or what would be his veins, and his spikes in brown on the top, with his horns coming out, looking very demon-like, with weathering of gold, and with that kind of sheen that looks almost like it's slimy. The mask in his face is like a greenish. It's like a greenish metallic metal with silver. Highlights of brown, or a brown wash. Got the horns on the two sides of the face. Very creepy, very medieval and demon-like. This is the back of the head right here. What it looks like. Then you see he has the shoulder pads or pauldrons. Very knight and medieval time-like. With a lot of writing in there, inscriptions. I don't know if those are like hieroglyphic writing in the game of the language. As you can see, it's like a greenish, military greenish, with browns and a hint of silver. Battle armor. Same thing on the side where it holds it together with the strap, with the red light over his heart. A brown strap over here, and a nice brown, brighter brown with some weathering. And if you see here, this contraption seems to be where his heart is mutated somehow, and you see the veins coming out of his chest, I guess from his heart, which connects with this here. These are the straps in brown, looking like leathery. You see, he has all types of weathering look, like of dirt and bruises on his body, along the veins in black. The color of his skin is like an ivory light purple, I would say. It's not white, really, per se. It's almost like a light purple, or prune. Then he has the other pauldron on the other side, or, shoulder pad, if you will, which are in, these ball joints, and they move, like accordingly. You see more details there, more simplified, and it's not as long to the one here on this side. You see here he has the strap in leather that goes all the way down his arm, you see, and all that detail, and with the silver wash on it as well, with the guard here in his forearm. It's like a plate in green, as you can see. You got the plate on the elbow, the gloves that look like made out of plate as well, and then in the inside, if you look, he did the ball joint thicker, so it doesn't look too much like a ball, and it looks more cohesive. And he painted it in this side in a metallic brown with the silver. When you go into the other hand, the ball joint's thicker, but he made it in the color of the hand. And he did it thicker so it wouldn't look as, different, I guess. And then this plate here on this side, I believe is the same. No, different. Different sculpts. Look at that. And this one connects also too with the elbow, the veins in the arms, as you can see. It's open here on this side. And the arms. Then we go down to his waist area where he has the belt with these spikes going on. These looks to be bullets. Some scripture in the buckle of a writing or something. It's also in the same material as the green plates. He has here these horns and faces of these skulls in metal, which are really nicely painted in detail with the silver gray and that little light yellow on them, in them, weathering. The plate on the side of the skirt as well, made out of a nice soft material, but looks like a metal piece with browns in there and bronze, and then in the back of the skirt as well, you can see all that detail, which obviously is from the game itself, those details on each of the characters individually. Then we have here a pouch with the same writing that you see on the buckle, and we have here, let's see, another brown pouch, the same type of pattern going along this side of the skirt as well. Then the crotch area has a plate, and then he has the leather brown going down on his legs with those patterns almost looking like long johns going down to the knees. Then he has the boots that look very similar to the Doomslayers in the plates as well. It could be different, we'll see as we go along, with the straps in the back, plates in the back, and then the boots, as you can see, with the weathering of browns, the weathering of silvers, brown leather straps, very, very detailed. On the bottom also got some detail. So, and then look at those beautiful yellow eyes, looking very scary. Take another look real quick at his face with the skull nose, where he's missing the nose. So as far as detail, as you can see, this figure has a plethora of detail. So he looks absolutely stunning in person. Obviously the cameras, what I'm recording is not going to do it justice, because in person it's just going to look so much better. The proportions look pretty good for the most part. The head kind of looks like it might be a little bit small, but I think that's how it is in the actual game itself. So now let's take a look at his accessories. So for accessories, you see he's very anemic. He only comes with two things. First, we'll start off with the traditional, obviously, silver matte finish black plate. But I like that he puts and incorporates all the names and themes of whatever it's based on. If it's Mortal Kombat, Cyberpunk, and he does it with the same font that is in the actual games, or in this, whatever it comes from material, whether it's a cartoon, a movie, and he keeps it in the same style and aesthetics for continuity, which I think is really nice. Really nice touch, plus the one peg for the one side. Then he brings this really crazy looking, translucent almost. It almost looks like a Jolly Rancher, the look of it, the material. And I think it's because it's supposed to emulate fire of this axe, double-sided axe, with inscriptions, as you can see, inside the axe, which is writings of some sort, with that beautiful skull with the horns on the top, with like a brownish, goldish, with hints of silver on it. And it looks like the mouth is open and the axe is being held by the mouth on the other side. Then here's the spinal cord, which almost looks like an insect-like beetle or centipede, going down with the spinal cord look going all the way down, green straps, green straps, green straps, all the way down to the very end. And this is painted very nicely with those leathery green look, highlights of brown and weathering of brown all over it. So, and that you see a hint of gold as well. So it looks almost like a Jolly Rancher. Maybe because maybe it has pipe lighting effect. When you put a light close to it, it looks like it's on or glows. And yeah, I know that, that's probably, he could have thrown in maybe some extra hands or some extra heads, but I think it all comes into play. The fact that the figure itself is not only very detailed, it's big, it's girthy. And remember, these are figures that are within the $20 price range, so I think he has to sacrifice in certain corners. The more detail and paint that goes in, because he's sculpting everything, he's not just throwing it in there with the paint job and painting the details. He's actually sculpting that and getting the sculpts on the actual sculpt painted. And this is why he throws in just a few of accessories. So now let's take a look at his articulation. Now for his articulation, let's take a closer look. We'll bring him in a little closer again. And I guess we could start off with his head. So his head is on a ball peg, double-sided. In this case, it feels kind of loose, but not terrible where it keeps popping off, but it can. So he has left and right, and then he looks down about. Let's see. He looks down about that much. You can't see it because of the pauldron, but he looks down about that much. And then he looks back, pull his head back about that much. Then it goes left and right. Obviously he has tilt, so it has a nice range of movement. Then when we go here to his arm, he can bring his arm all the way up like that. And I'll pull this out because this is on a separate piece, as you can see right there. It goes all the way up. Then it comes all the way down. It does 100, 300, or 180 degrees all the way. As you can see, he has swivel there, what would be on the elbow, not on the bicep. It's the elbow, it's a little bit further up. And it is a single jointed elbow piece, but with more range because of how long he did the extension. So when it goes up, as you'll see, it goes up more than, or a little more than 90, you see? And then you go down, then the ball peg moves really nice, quite nicely. In and out hinge, as you can see. Then he has the swivel at the elbow. Now, I was trying to see if he had a butterfly. He doesn't have no butterfly mechanism on this figure. On the other side, it works exactly the same. Only difference is, again, if I pull this out, it's easier, so it doesn't interfere. And you can see here, this is it's on a ball peg. It's like a ball peg, you just push it in, like so, and then you push that in there. Very, very easy, it doesn't break. As you can see, it doesn't break, it comes right off. The arm goes up just as high, really nice amount of range, all the way around. And then again, because this arm is, the extension is longer, it goes up about that. A little bit more because don't have the piece of the metal interfering on this side. So just take the peg here, the pauldron, almost like the Mythic Legions, and you push it right back in, like so. Put it in. There it is. There you go. See? Then he has here in the torso, he has a nice ball movement. And then he has, obviously, a swivel in the waist. Now, as far as how much it moves from the top, it moves that much, and it moves that much back with the top. Now, if you use this, the range of movement is pretty good. He moves forward that much, and then he moves, hyperextends back pretty well as well. Like, that's a lot, especially for a big guy. Then on the legs, now when I did the Batman review, I said that the way he can fix the situation with keeping the scopes with the legs and yet still have a nice feel of swivel is if he did the pegs in the middle smaller. And I don't know if Mcfarlane seen my reviews or not, but if he did, I'm glad he did. And I think he might have heard what I said and maybe might have listened. He did the pegs smaller. So you see all that room you have now? So because of that, you have a really good amount and range of swivel, as you can see. And it's in both legs that you can do it. See that? It moves really easy. And it has a nice range. So I think he's listening, and I hope that he continues with other figures going forward. Now again on the knee, because he's a big figure, and I guess because to hold him, you know, so it doesn't break up the sculpt too much, he put a single on the legs. Doesn't go up any more than that. But the leg does actually move up quite a nice amount of distance for him, as you can see. Because of the swivel too, it goes back a nice amount. And then on the top of the boot, he has a swivel there too. Then he has forward, back, forward. It's a big ball peg. And then you can go left and right. And he has the rocker. So you can pose him with a nice amount of range without having to worry about him falling over, because he is heavy. Even though the plastic feels nice and soft and not too brittle and thick, he does feel, you know, really nice and sturdy, but he's heavy. So as for his articulation, right now, that's it. That's what he has to offer. And, you know, for, like I said, for being a bigger figure and character, I think the articulation is executed pretty good. So let's put on his accessories real quick, which would be obviously this big menacing axe. You open the hands up like so because they are pliable, they are soft, and even the axe has a soft feel to it. And then we can bring his hand over it this way. Do the same thing here. Open it up, put it in between, and there we go. You have him holding this really destructive looking axe, and you can use his what you call it, let me see if I can lift it maybe to go back. You can use his stand, obviously his stand, but again, the stand you don't really need with a figure like him, because he has so much let's see, he has so much flat parts to his legs, or feet rather, and so much range with the tilt that he'll stand very, very well without the stand. I mean, it's nice to have it, but he doesn't really need it in his case. As you can see right there, he's holding that axe, and he looks dope. He looks really dope. I like the way he looks. I keep trying to maybe, yeah, something like that. It looks very imposing, very menacing. So let's bring in a couple figures to compare them to side by side. Here I have them next to a Marvel Legends Union Jack, and I have them next to Marvel Legends Spy Master. And as you can see how the disparity in height is pretty big, and I have them split and kind of lean forward, so that'll give you an idea how tall he is, or big. And here I have him next to the 306-inch scale Zhao Yun and the articulated icon basic Gray Ninja. Again, these are more in the 6-inch scale line and size, and you can see how different he looks next to them. And here he is next to the Star Wars Black Series 6-inch Knights of Ren, or Knight of Ren, and then the Phantom Menace Episode 2, not Phantom Menace, I forgot, Attack of the Clones, Star Wars Episode 2, Dooku, Count Dooku, from the Star Wars Black Series 6-inch line as well, which again you see the disparity in the height. Here I have him next to the DC Universe Classics Multiverse comic book version of Black Lightning and Raven from the Fortnite video game, which he's some type of wizard, or I think that's what he's supposed to be looking like a wizard. And you see that the DC Universe was more like 6.5, and these from Jazzware, Fortnite's Legendary Series, are more in the 6-inch scale. So you still see how tall he is. And I mean, the horns do play a part as well. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show side-by-side comparison with the Doomslayer himself and someone else that I think would look cool and fitting next to him if I also had him in 7-inch scale, which I don't, but either way. And last but not least, here we have him next to the Legendary Series Mattel Halo 6-inch line, and here is Master Chief. These figures are really awesome. Very reminiscent to, obviously, Doom Guy. And as you can see him standing next to Doom Guy is smaller, but he has more girth, or a little more girth to him. And they scale in pretty nicely. And the plates of the boots from the knee to the foot, I thought were the same, and they're not. Both of these guys have all new parts. They don't share anything, and unique sculpts. And this guy, gets one warranted hate because people are like, oh, you don't have a neck, but it's because of the design of way he was done. He's supposed to look like, he has the suit, and you can never look. He does got a smaller neck piece. He doesn't look like you don't have a neck. It's that they use the design of a peg in here to give you a lot of range and movement that you can put it really dynamic, which you couldn't really have done otherwise. So you'll see the peg in there if you look closely, but it works well. And he's a good figure. He moves really well too for being big and girthy. So I just feel he got a lot of unwarranted hate, and this is still in the beginning steps and stages of Mcfarlane's endeavor into the, unique articulation world that he never really has been part of by choice because of the sculpting. And these figures preserve the sculpting, the detail, the paint job, the quality, for, without really sacrificing, because of the way they're done so well with the articulation. I think they're both spectacular figures, and the biggest point that everybody got to keep in mind here is it's $20 figures. I mean, some people found them for $15.99 on Amazon, Walgreens, when they did some sales, even in GameStop. You cannot go wrong with figures of this quality, with so much attention to detail, with some, reasonable amounts of accessories plus a stand, you can't go wrong. For $20, I mean, you can't really ask for more. The sculpting detail is phenomenal. The paint job's phenomenal. There's nothing really to complain about. And even the articulation is for the type of figures they are, the scale, the size, it's really well executed. Could they get better? Of course, yes, they can. Any figure can. But I think that would be my main gripe of where I would want to see them as far as articulation. That would probably be the only thing I would probably see a little bit better. Like if he had some double jointed elbows and knees and then butterflies, I think it would make him a much more approachable figure for posability and things like that. But they're both big kind of characters. He's a creature, very demonic and very heavy, and Doom is in his suit is very heavy as well. Plus he's a big guy, so big guys really can't move as dynamic in range as the smaller guys. But either way, this is as you can see what he looks like side by side. So here it is, guys. There is my review for the brand new Mcfarlane Toys 7-inch scale Doom Eternal Marauder figure, or adult collectible, if you will. And again, he just looks really spectacular, really beautiful looking figure, with a lot of nice detail, paint jobs, applications. Not very heavy on the accessory side, but again, I haven't played the game. I'm not sure if that's all he really has as far as accessories, or if he does magic or throws some other stuff. I'm not sure, but what is there is well executed, well presented, and will go really nice on your shelf with your display. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know what you guys think of my review down in the comments below. If you guys have them yourselves, let me know what you think in your own words as well, because I'd like to know and get your insight and thoughts on what you think of the figure, or if you're planning to pick them up, and if maybe, just maybe, my review might have influenced you just a little to go out and pick them up, because that's the intentions of these videos, to hopefully make it an easier decision and an easier approach for you guys, the viewers, to figure out if you would like to add that figure or not to your said collection. As always, leave a thumbs up if you liked it, or leave a thumbs down if you didn't like it. Either way, it's still engagement, and it helps no matter what, positive or negative. Just don't be trolling and be hateful, because I don't block you. I don't appreciate that, especially with other people in the comments that you don't even know each other. And one more thing too is, if you're new to my channel, welcome and thank you for stopping by. If you like what I do, please feel free to subscribe. And if you subscribe, remember that now that you did subscribe, I'm really grateful. I really appreciate it, because I know you didn't have to, but since you did, I consider you now part of my family. So if you ever want to find me in social media, I'm on Twitter under Hebot Powerful Gamer, and on I'm on Instagram under C_respect. And if you ever guys want to help me in any way, shape, or form in my channel, with because you have the means, or feel that you can, especially after this terrible and tragic and trying times, it would mean a lot to me. You know how to do it. It's all in the description down below. Just like if you want to make any donations, just DM me so we can figure out the particulars if you want me to review anything in particular that you may want or have to, pass it forward to review. Guys, thank you for stopping by. It's me, your host, Hebot, signing off with another episode of Toys in My Closet. Keep on collecting and be safe while you're doing it, and be considerate. Love you guys. Until the next one.